Hi students. In this video I'd like to explain how the process of distillation works. In the notes you can see there's a diagram of the apparatus used for distillation, but I'd like to sort of explain how the process works. Let's start with the basics. If you have salt water, you can't drink it, right? Like ocean water. And you can't filter the salt out of it either, like by pouring it through filter paper. The salt will go right through. But there is one way you can separate salt from water, and that's using a process called distillation. Basically what distillation does is it involves boiling one substance in a mixture without boiling the other. So here's how the process works. You take salt water in a distillation flask and you heat it up until the mixture boils. When you see all those bubbles, it might be tempting to think that you're just turning the salt water into a gas, but you have to be careful here. Salt and water have different boiling points. You have to get the water to a certain temperature, 100 degrees Celsius, in order to make it change into a gas. But to get salt to turn into a gas requires a much, much higher temperature. So when you heat up the flask, then when the mixture gets warm enough to turn the water into a gas, you'll see those bubbles. But what's important to realize here is that those bubbles are filled with pure H2O, right? It's hot enough for the water to change into a gas, but not hot enough for the salt to change into a gas. That means that all the vapors coming from that boiling mixture are filled with pure fresh water. So then you go to the next stage. You take all the fresh steam, right, with no salt, and you need to change it back into a liquid. When you change a gas into a liquid by cooling it down, we call that condensing. So over here you can see a slanted tube called the condenser, and the condenser's job is to take that water vapor and cool it down until it condenses, until it turns back into a liquid. So as the steam goes through this condenser, the steam cools down and will form droplets of condensation on the inside, and eventually those droplets will get big enough where they will drip down and go into this other beaker, and there you will have pure fresh water. After all, remember, all the vapors that came from that boiling salt water were pure water. The salt all gets left behind in this distillation flask, and if we were to run it long enough, eventually there would be only salt left. All the water would get boiled away, and all the water on the other side would be fresh. That's how this process works. It's a great process for separating mixtures where both substances in the mixture have different boiling points. And this works not only with water and salt, but with water and anything else with a boiling point that's higher. So for instance, you could put sugar in here, or food coloring, or you could literally take used sewage water. That sounds kind of disgusting, but actually, even if this were sewage water, only the fresh water would be able to boil, and the water on the other side would not only be drinkable, but would actually be probably purer than most of the water you actually drink. So that's how distillation works. The key is you separate the ingredients in a mixture by boiling one of the ingredients and changing it into a gas without boiling the other one, because both ingredients have different boiling points. Hope this makes sense.